Next up, we have CJ Grace, and you're quite the headliner and hero yourself. You're a humorist. You're the author of some great books. You're a former BBC journalist. You currently have a great TV show you're the host of on the Thriving Women Network. There's some personal people in my world like Angela Lee and Jessica Sheehan who just absolutely love you. So you also have your own fan club. So that's amazing. Look, we're just so excited to have you on here. And I got to admit, some of your topics are a little bit heavy, but they are topics that people need to hear. I noticed you've got a couple of those book right up in there in the corner of your screen there. Adulterer's Wife, How to Thrive Whether You Stay or Not. And then, of course, My Wild Ride. I don't know why I'm reading this, and everybody else can read this as well. But look, impressive background, impressive work. And I'm sure you've been a hero to many. That's why several people nominated you to be on here. But I thought with you, I would do something a little different and talk about how sometimes we need to be our own hero. Sometimes we need to save ourselves because nobody else is coming, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And we've had some great examples of that so far on Headliners and Heroes 2025. You know, if you can't do it yourself, you've got to. One of the things that I learned going through both infidelity, dealing with an unfaithful husband and the breakup of my marriage, and then getting breast cancer for the second time because I have one of those nice little BRCA gene defects. So, you know, going through that, it really makes you realize that, you know, life is short. You need to make things happen yourself. You can't rely on other people to do it. Everything is impermanent, really. And you just have to be aware of that and learn how to become complete in yourself. That was one of the things that I had to know. I mean, everybody has been through different types of adversity. I know you too, David. You've been through some pretty difficult adversity, you know, and you've come through the other end. And adversity makes us stronger. If you can get through it, it makes you stronger. And I have to say, I am a better person now, having gone through the breakup of my marriage, the difficulty with an unfaithful husband, going through breast cancer twice. I feel like I'm a much better person than I was before that. I think it's interesting because Tiffany Kano was saying, she was talking about her life before Kriya Yoga and after. And in my case, it would be life before the infidelity and yet another breast cancer diagnosis and after, because my whole life changed. And I'm very happy with where it is now, because one of the things about regret is that regret is not about the past. It's about the present. And if you're happy where you are right now, you don't have regret. Yeah, I'm definitely a big believer in that. There's certain things that have happened or will happen in people's lives, and they feel like a mistake, right? And one of the things that I hear that's very common is they might regret the person that they married, right? And it's like, yeah, but that's, you know, what helped you become you, you know? And it seems like being at peace with things a lot of times is accepting that. And I'm going to use your words here, and I want to get this right. This is a great quote I saw. The best revenge is to get past the need for it. That is so true, because when I was going through the infidelity, when I first found out about my husband's infidelity, he actually invited me to be a part-time wife. He said, well, I'd be perfectly happy spending 2 or 3 days a week with her and the rest of the week with you. And I actually thought about that for a time because I didn't want my whole world to collapse, even though it was kind of a crazy concept. But then I got my second diagnosis of breast cancer. And while I was undergoing chemotherapy, he was in a foreign country with his girlfriend. And it didn't feel like being a part-time wife was going to work for me. So, you know, one of the things that is so important is I think you have to, whatever's happening, you have to maintain a sense of humor, because there is absurd humor in everything that happens. I was brought up on Monty Python. I love that kind of humor, and that keeps you going, because if you see the absurd humor, the cosmic joke maybe that the universe is throwing at you, it kind of helps you not take it quite as seriously as you might have otherwise, and just put one foot in front of the other and move forward.
Yeah. Can you give us an example of something you found some humor in that maybe most people wouldn't?
Well, in my book, for example, the final chapter is about death and dying. It's called Resting in Peace. Rest in peace. And it's a subject that is very difficult for people to get their heads around. And with an unpalatable subject, humor helps you be able to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I had all these wonderful stories from cancer survivors about terminal diagnosis malfunctions. People who had been told that you've got this terrible cancer, you aren't going to survive. You might as well, make sure you write your will and get your affairs in order. This happened to a friend of mine who's my neighbor here. 10 years ago. Yes, he was given a terminal diagnosis. He did not accept it. He got a second opinion. He found somebody that could operate on the tumor, and now he is still with us. So, there is humor even in the dark stuff, because there's a lot of dark stuff in life. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that everything is a joke and that you can laugh through your entire life. No, I'm not saying that, but you have to see the humor, because the humor puts the light at the end of the tunnel. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully it's not a train, right? A little bit of humor.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I love that. Look, it's been great having you on and getting a different perspective, and we've had some really great people on here today. You've been a hero to so many. Something I'm asking everybody is there one or two people that have been kind of maybe a hero to you that maybe even helped inspire your courage through the things you've gone through?
Yeah, there were a couple of people. One of them was the late Mikhail Pletner, who was a homeopath. He dealt with really bad health all through his life. He was a personal friend of both me and my husband. And he was my rock to go through both cancer diagnoses. And amazingly, when I was going through the breakup of my marriage, because he had counseling experience, he told me, you should write things down. He gave me all kinds of tips that ended up being my 6-part plan to overcome adversity. A lot of that came from him. And that appears in the Adulterer's Wife book. He also was like an encyclopedia of alternative medicine, because I did a lot of alternative medicine techniques as well as conventional medicine when I went through cancer. And, there is no one-size-fits-all answer to cancer. It's very personal. And so I had one thing I have in my Wild Ride book, which is about how to thrive after breast cancer and infidelity. The first cartoon in there, because it has cartoons, is about friendly advice. And so I got, the person saying, alternative medicine is all quackery. It doesn't work. Then I got the straight-laced people saying, well, chemo and radiation is toxic and that doesn't work either. And then I got food Nazis saying, oh, no, you've got to give up dairy because, your cancer will come back if you don't do that. And somebody else who was one of these positivity Nazis saying, oh, you've got to keep a positive attitude. And the reason why you got cancer is because you're too tense. And they shouted at me when they said that, which makes it very easy to relax, right? But, so every single person going through cancer is going to get a bucket load of unsolicited advice that they will have to sort of, most of it, okay, right, well, I did all that. I was tense, yes, and I did alternative medicine, and I did conventional medicine, and I drank milk. I'm a Brit. I have to have milk in my tea, all of those kinds of things. And I'm still here. So, I made some fairly some controversial decisions. I was advised to have a prophylactic mastectomy before I had the second bout of cancer. And afterwards, I was advised again to go for a mastectomy, and I turned that down. A lot of people thought I was completely nuts to do that, but breast implant illness is very real, and I did not want to deal with problems from silicone implants or any other kinds of implants. And that's why a lot of people going through mastectomies are choosing to go flat, because of the problems with reconstruction. But I took some, I did some things that the doctors didn't recommend. I did some things that the doctors did recommend. Mm-hmm. And everybody has to be their own judge of what they do. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to tell anybody else how to deal with their cancer. But the one thing that really stuck in my mind, because I did a ton of research for my Wild Ride book, because I'm an anal BBC researcher, and it was a book called Dressed to Kill, The Link Between Breast Cancer and Bras. And that is the one thing that I always bring up whenever I do any because the link between bras and breast cancer is stronger than the link between smoking and lung cancer. And there is a lot of research out there to show that. And the research that that Sidney Ross Singer in his book shows is pretty compelling, Dressed to Kill. So that is the one thing that I do. And I go around whenever I meet people and telling them that just at one point. And then what's wonderful is that I'll come back and they say, oh, I gave up wearing my bra, or I take my bra off now as soon as I get home from work. And I feel so much better. I don't get back pain. I'm so much more comfortable. It's wonderful. So I get that all the time from people.
I feel like you're setting me up for a lot of jokes here on these bra talks, but I'm not sure.
I'm so glad that you've given up wearing bras, David. It's really good for your health.
That was one of the jokes. Yes, I this is why I've stayed out of the bra. You
just opened the door for that one pretty wide.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. Women, do you hear that? Everywhere, women, just stop wearing those bras. It's not for me. It's for your own health. It's for your own health.
Yeah, and I'm known as the woman that throws pink bras. I go on stage at Earth Day every year here in Maui, where I am right now, and tell people to throw away their bras. And the way I do it is just I go to yard sales. I find these wonderful, huge pink bras. And then I got more and more bras to throw away. I actually have some here. I don't know whether you want me to throw them, but I do. I always have pink bras near me that I can throw. I'm known as the lady that throws pink bras.
So you literally buy them to throw them away?
Oh, yeah. Here they are. Lots of them. And I throw them around. Yep. I might as well do it. There we go. You see, one's got stuck. Yeah. One got stuck on my green screen. But anyway, so that's what I do. I throw bras. And
so what are people's...
That's why I'm a hero. I'm a hero just because I'm throwing bras and telling women, throw away your bra and you will extend your life and you'll be more comfortable.
So what's the reaction when you show up at a garage sale or something and say, where are your bras at? What's the reaction to that? I usually get them for virtually nothing because people don't really want them, especially because I go for the really large size ones and they've got to be pink. They've got to be fuchsia, pink, something like that, because that's the color, that's the breast cancer color, and it's the color that shows up. So I'm not white, nah, black, nah, got to be pink. Okay. Well, you've been a hero to many. It's great that you shared some of who your heroes are too. You're definitely a headliner as well. You fit all of this stuff really well. I'll give you the last word here as we got to move on. But what's the last thing you want everyone to know before you let them go?
Well, there's always hope. A breast cancer diagnosis sometimes it's extremely scary, and it puts you in a whole different fear space. There is always hope. And in terms of breast cancer, the survival rate for early stage non-metastatic breast cancer in 5 years, in the 5-year span they looked at, is almost 100%. Wow, that's pretty good. So it doesn't need to be, it is definitely not a death sentence. Obviously it does turn metastatic for some, but it does not have to be a death sentence, and there are lots of ways you can deal with it these days. So I just want to give people hope. And on my website, cjauthor.com, I have some free PDFs about overcoming infidelity and also tips to stay sane if you do get a breast cancer diagnosis. And I also have some pages about resources for cancer, skincare products, those kinds of things. I do have that on my website. So check it out.
I love it. Well, thank you for coming on, CJ. I've heard lots of good things about you. It's good to finally connect with you. especially here when so many other people can learn about who you are and what you do. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. I'm proud to be a part of Headliners and Heroes 2025.